Hi, my name's Kayla,
And I'm Tommy.
and this is Rebel Retrospective.
Yes, it is.
Episode 1. The first thing we have for today is we decided to watch Extraction, which is a new release. It's on Netflix.
We haven't exactly got many new releases to do, so we're really scraping Netflix for everything
We
it's got.
are scraping the bottom of the barrel. Literally, in this case, I do not like this film.
Ooh,
I know.
Okay.
So, I would like to preface this with, I don't really like that style of, gritty, realistic-esque sort of action film. It's not really my jam.
Okay, yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'll go into it, I will put aside the gritty action bits, and I will see if I have anything redeemable about this, and I have, two.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
I have a couple, so hopefully we can even out the perspective somehow.
Okay, so starting with my notes, because I decided to make notes, because I realised about half an hour in, I was like, I am not going to remember anything from this. It's just going to be 2 hours of just gunfire in my head, so I should make notes.
That is a pretty accurate review of the movie, by the way. Just 2 hours of gunfire.
Yeah, it's
there you go.
I've written here, conclusion, 2 hours of gunfire. There we go. So
Fantastic.
I'm going to start with the yikes counter, which is the number of times the movie made me actually verbalise the word yikes. Which, if you know me at all, which many of you won't, I realise that, but I don't really talk that much if I'm watching a film on my own. So for me to actually verbalise something, it really has to take it. I said yikes out loud 8 times.
8.
8. Which I know doesn't sound that many for a 2-hour film, but in perspective, a similarly graphic film only made me say yikes twice, so yeah.
Okay, I really don't like where this is heading. I feel like
I don't know, there were just a lot of things I didn't like. So, for example, spoilers ahead, so if you want to watch this film, maybe skip ahead.
Yeah, just before you go ahead, just a little bit of background on this. So, this film is made by a guy called Sam Hargrave, who is the stunt coordinator in a lot of Marvel movies, a lot of DC movies. He's also the body double for Captain America. So that's kind of background. But also, the reason I was drawn to it is in the writing process, a lot of that was done by the Russo brothers, who made Captain America Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, and possibly my favourite MCU movie, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. And yeah, so they were a lot behind the writing of their films. So that's just some background for you.
Yeah, so there are a couple things I had a problem with, as it were. A lot of it is okay, this is, it's a gritty action movie. I'll accept that. But they dropped a child off a roof. There's only one serious female character. There is so much shaky cam. It gets to the point where it's is this shaky cam, or did they just decide to just shake the camera? Actually just fucking go for it with the camera. Why? I understand that you're trying to replicate the feeling of being in the car chase, but still, there's limits.
So speaking of car chases,
oh my god,
this might become very much an attack-defense conversation right now. So the behind the scenes of this, it was filmed, basically, the director sat on the front of a car.
Yeah.
Driving behind the action that was happening.
That somehow doesn't surprise me.
So that's why it's all very shaky and it's like you're actually in the action.
Oh my god.
It's all very deliberate.
Yeah, well, there's that. So, my first sticky note goes, it's very bloody. They've decided that everyone in the film has a shade of grey, which I kind of liked. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then they dropped a child off a building, and from there on in, it just dissolves. So, they ended up having this one plot line about a teenager, and I'm like, that was unnecessary. You don't need to drag a teenager into this.
Is that the teenager who I will refer to as the guy?
Quite possibly. It's the guy who cut off his finger.
It's the one who... It's the one who you see at the start who's really clever.
Yeah.
And then henceforth I refer to him as the guy. And again, this is massive spoilers. He is the person that I refer to as, of course he's the one who shoots him at the end.
Yeah, like
Of course it's that
like
guy.
it's the most obvious, plot twist I've ever come across, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But he also gets his like shit beaten out of him by Chris Hemsworth, which is very realistic, frankly. Although I did enjoy that he was like, you know what, I'm not actually going to kill these kids, I'm going to knock them out, I'm going to injure them, but I won't kill them. And I was like, okay, sure. I've written here,
Yeah.
in the first half of the film, there is 30 straight minutes of just car chase and seemingly mindless violence.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. There's a lot of... It seems to have, like, this dichotomy between, this very, like, ongoing... And now we're being shot at, and now they're fighting, and now there's a helicopter, and boom, 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 And then they have, like, these really random quiet moments where you're like, oh, am I supposed to sympathize with the mercenary? I don't know. So, yeah, am I meant to be, vibing with this mercenary? Like, what are you trying to make me do here?
Yeah. Okay, shall I try and go in a little bit more positive,
yeah, go
shall
on.
I?
Go for it.
Actually, no, before I do that, I'm just going to mention the thing that I couldn't get over. At the start, there was a scene that I was like verbally out loud, and I was just like, wait, so is he Aquaman?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There is a scene, it's at the start, and he jumps off a canyon into some like water, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then he's just sitting at the bottom of the ocean floor, like meditating.
Like, it's so obvious that he's doing I'm in water and I'm crying underwater because I'm a man and men don't cry.
Yeah, it was really weird, but I was like, wait, is he Aquaman? And then then they did the same scene with the kid later in the film.
Yeah,
And it's like, is this meant to be like poetic symmetry? Are they both Aquaman?
Is it poetic symmetry? Are we like doing a full circle thing? Oh, and then when he gets out of the pool and he like, there's like this sort of fuzzy, possibly white guy in the background, and you're like, is that?
I didn't mind that because they basically told you he was going to be alive from the fact that he fell into water. Like in a movie, if a character gets shot and falls into water, they're not dead.
I mean, I know you can't see this, but like my face is just covered in doubt. Yeah, but he was shot in the neck. How is he going to survive that? No one is gonna survive that, especially after that length of fall into water. Like, come on. Come on.
I think the fact that they're making Extraction 2 is apparently it's being made.
Oh my god, they're making a second one. Why? Where is the call for it?
Okay, I'll tell you where the call for it is with my positives.
Okay, go on then.
It's beautiful in terms of some of the shots.
Okay.
I've written. Don't laugh.
Sorry.
I've written down the piano scene at the start.
Yes. Okay, I will
because
give you
that is gorgeous. It basically started from the first shot of a thing where I was like, okay, this is going to be a gritty, realistic thing, and I've seen things like that, like Sicario, I think it's called, and it's this neutral, bland color grade to make it seem realistic. But no, this one was these bright, vivid yellows, and it's actually really nice.
Yeah.
I like the makeup, especially in that opening scene. I think it's really well done. And then it just kind of leads on in. We get the piano shot. And then there were just generally a lot of really... I joke about the Aquaman shot, but like, it's a beautiful looking shot. Like,
okay.
You can't argue with that.
I mean, if we are looking at the film just from an aesthetic point of view, I will agree with you. It is a very pretty film.
The one issue is, I'm kind of fighting against my own cause here. It suddenly stops being pretty when the action starts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of but then also the action and this is probably me being a bit of a film nerd,
Sure.
is really good or better than most action movies because it's actually not done with cuts. I don't know if you noticed that. They don't cut during the action scenes.
Yeah, no,
Or like they barely do. So you can actually see everything that's going on. There's one that's like a long take. They've used editing to like make it into a long take, but it's you kind of miss those sort of things in a lot of action movies. I mean, Marvel's the big one. They cut about every half a second in their fight scenes,
which is, you know, not optimal. And
yeah,
the fact okay, so I will agree with you, that is a good thing. I think it suited the tone of the film. If they had been doing a lot of cuts, I probably would have just stopped watching about halfway through and just been like, no, fuck this film, I don't care.
Fair.
I was kind of close to doing that, and then I was like, you know, an hour and a half in anyways, and I was like, you know what, I may as well see it through. I kind of care about this kid now. But like...
Yeah, the kid's good. The kid's really good.
Oh my god,
I
have no idea who played him because I did not stick around for the what's it called?
Credits.
There we go, thank you. But whoever played him was really, really good.
Yes, and I actually really like the relationship that he has with Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
Not the actor, not Chris Hemsworth, as in his character. What's his face? Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really dug that. I like that they are at first like it's all the mission, then it suddenly the mission doesn't matter anymore, but yet he sticks with it.
Yeah.
And they're not even like close. They still develop even past that.
Yeah, no.
It's just kind of nice that this guy who will literally beat up like 14 guys in a room, and it's brutal, like absolutely brutal, but he has this soft spot for this kid.
It's okay, so it's like that one scene in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Rosa gets a puppy and she's like, if anything happens to him, I will kill everyone in this room and then myself. It's that.
Yeah.
I've written down here a quote, which is actually from Wreck-It Ralph, which is, just because you are a bad guy does not mean you are bad guy.
Yeah. I like that we've got this morally ambiguous anti-hero-y character.
Yeah.
Speaking on the brutality, because it is brutal.
It really is. It does not pull any punches.
No, in some of the behind the scenes, they talk about how they had to, like, they couldn't even use stunt doubles for some of it. They had to use, like, mannequins, because even if you did that, you would just die.
Like, a dude, resets his nose, like, halfway through. I just, that was a yikes.
It was beautiful.
It was graded beautifully.
I have the numbers here.
Oh.
I have our boy Chris Hemsworth's kill count.
Go on then.
What do you think it is? Guesses.
Or
first.
I think, oh god, he killed a lot of people in that film. I reckon our boy Tyler's kill count in that film, because it's alluded that he's done this before, I'm reckoning like 200?
202.
I was so close!
That was really close.
Wow.
Again, I've Googled that. I didn't go frame by frame counting it.
Because that would be insane.
You know. But yeah, it's really brutal.
Yeah. So basically, if you're like me and your favourite genre is rom-coms and you enjoy the occasional action film, don't watch it. It's not worth it.
If you're like me and are here for brutal, realistic fight choreography, then it's for you.
It's just fight. It's 2 hours of fight choreography with a little bit of plot.
Yeah. I mean, the director said that his goal was to create a film where you didn't know anything about the characters from the dialogue, you learnt it from the fight scenes.
I mean, he sure did achieve that.
I think the best example is midway through there is a fight between our boy Tyler and some random guy.
Some dude.
Well, not a random guy, a important random guy.
Oh, is this
who's
the other dude?
This is the guy that he calls. What's his name? Casper or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, gas something.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he calls him for help, and basically it comes down to this guy who he thought he could trust, he can't, and he wants to kill the kid, basically.
Yeah, and I was like, betrayal!
Yeah, like, oh damn. But the most important thing is that fight, it's not a particularly intense fight, I don't think, compared to some of the others.
Oh god, no.
But in terms of character, it tells you that our boy Tyler, who will kill people because he feels like it, basically, but he won't kill a kid.
Yeah.
And that is character done through fight scenes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you don't see that often.
No, because it's not really, like, no one... Okay, I'll give you that some people want to watch that, but the vast majority of people don't want to watch 2 hours of fight scenes.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Some other just little bits that are kind of good.
Right.
They do a great job with the castings with cultures. So at the start, when we're introduced to Tyler, he's using his native accent. Chris Hemsworth is Australian in this, which is, oh my god, finally.
His accent.
But he's with just 2 Australian guys. They are just 2 Australian guys. And then later on, we have a lot of scenes that take place. It's in India, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in India.
That's what it is, yeah. And when we're not with them, they talk in their native tongue, because why wouldn't they? Like, they only talk English when there's an English person there.
Yeah, and
so like when we're watching it, when someone's not there, they are just talking like normally,
like in Hindi or in Bangladeshi.
Yeah, it's just like a really small detail, and it's really nice. Really helps elevate it.
It does help with the immersion, like, quite a lot.
Yeah, but it's not everyone's film.
No.
I mean, I absolutely loved it. Compared to some of the other dumb, fun action movies that are on Netflix at the moment, Six Underground comes to mind. But compared to that, it's better. But it's not everyone's kind of film.
No, it's an acquired taste, should we say?
Yeah.
A taste that I do not fancy acquiring.
A very bloody taste. It is.
If you like your meat raw, like actually raw.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on swiftly, we have other things to talk about.
We do.
Continuing on with films. This week's Irredeemable, which is a popular movie or TV show that we think is really bad.
Or a really bad film or TV show that we think is amazing.
So this week's one is Marriage Story, which has really good reviews. Everyone apart from me seems to really like it, but I really dislike it. It's just not that good.
I haven't seen it. This is going to be very interesting. The only thing I know about it is A, it was nominated for Best Film at the Oscars, I'm fairly sure.
Really not worth it.
And B, it stars Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Okay, so
sell me on it. Sell me on how bad it is.
I'm going to start with the good things, because the good things do not outweigh the bad in any way, shape or form, and I will be over with them very quickly. Okay, so Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's chemistry, really good. They're both very good actors. That was good.
Yes, definitely.
And there was like a empower yourself woman sort of plot line, which I quite enjoyed. I was like, okay, yeah, I can get behind this. You do it. Other than that, I do not like this film. It, in ways, okay, I don't know how to explain this. So the whole story is about this couple that's getting a divorce, right? So first up, I found the plotline so boring. Like, why would you make a film about a couple getting a divorce? It's not even like they're having an interesting divorce.
Isn't that just like every subplot in a TV show ever?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's always your B plot. Like I was watching a show yesterday, and that is like the B plot.
Yeah.
2 characters have gotten divorced.
Yeah, it's literally if you took the B plot of something like, I don't know, like EastEnders or something, and then made it into a film. And it's like, that was so unnecessary. Okay. I was watching it, and all the way through I kept thinking, why did these two people get married in the first place?
Oh, is it an unbelievable relationship? Like, you can believe it would end, but not that it would start.
I could believe it would start. I just don't understand why they got married.
Oh, okay.
Like, the whole thing is that... You don't mind spoilers, right?
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So the whole thing is that, she's an actress and he's a director. And so they work together on, like, this theatre company and all this kind of stuff. So them getting together kind of makes sense. It happens a lot, People in the theatre world are so incestuous, let me tell you. But them getting married and then having a kid felt a little bit forced.
Like it's just being set up for this story.
Yeah. And it's like there's this marriage counselling suggestion at one point. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to do the marriage counselling thing, do the marriage counselling thing. Don't, dip your toes in and back out of it. I think the film is supposed to show, both sides in an equal light, but honestly, I just ended up sitting there and being like, why didn't she leave him years ago? What the fuck? Because, this guy is, controlling, and they have, this ongoing conversation because they live in New York, and she wants to move back to, where her family is, which I can't remember where it is, Seattle or something? I don't know.
It's just somewhere.
Somewhere else. The point here is he doesn't want to move.
Okay.
He really does not want to move. And instead of, expressing that to his wife in a sensible adult way, he's like, no, we're not moving. And she's like, okay, but I would like to move back because A, my career, and B, I'd like to move back. And he's like, yeah, no. Whereas, the other way round, when he's like, oh, I'd like to do X, and she's like, I'd really rather not do that, they end up doing it anyways. Right. And I know the whole point of the film is to show that they're both imperfect people and so on and so forth. And you know what? She isn't perfect, right? She is decidedly human. She's shown as having flaws, which... I will give them this. Their female characters were three-dimensional, which is good.
Which is always good, yeah.
Always good. But it's the whole film was so unnecessary. There's this one scene where they end up arguing, and he punches a wall or something, and I just remember sitting there and being like,
wait, hold on, isn't that just Kylo Ren?
No.
Isn't that what he does?
Yeah.
He just, gets annoyed and just punches walls or something.
Yeah, I know.
Slam your mask into a wall. Bang!
He, punches a wall and puts a hole in this wall, right? While they're arguing, and I just...
Okay, I've always thought the whole punching a wall and it breaking is a bit of, an overused trope.
Yeah.
Because if you punch a wall, I've never broken a wall by punching it.
Neither have I, and I've punched a lot of walls.
It just seems like this incredibly this is dramatic moment. Let's break the wall. It's come on, what are you doing? Someone's gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And repair it.
I've watched people punch walls before. People stronger than me. No one has ever been able to break a wall in front of me. Come on.
You have to assume that every wall in movies are made out of the the really cool papery stuff that you get in houses in Japan and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just have to assume it's that all the time.
Yeah. But they have this big argument which is supposed to be a turning point or something, and I'm just like, how did it take you to get to this point, which is the extremist breaking point, to realise that the other one also has feelings? What the fuck? Are you adults?
How long had they been married?
I don't know. Hold on. Several years, I think.
What have they been doing for those? Is it just one of those things where they just never talk to each other?
You'd have to presume so.
They just got married and then now they just do their jobs and they come back and they just nod at each other in the hallway. They're this is a marriage, right?
I don't think so. It's LA. She wants to move to LA. It doesn't say how long they've been married. It is quite vague. The whole thing is I don't know. It just, the whole film feels very forced.
Does it improve watching if you assume they got married like 2 days ago? Does that like help it?
Not at all, because I have like a 6-year-old son.
Oh,
Yeah.
so at least 6 years.
Or
Theoretically.
thereabouts, yeah. It's just not that good. And I don't understand why it got, the rep that it did. It's just, like, are straight people's standards that low? What? Yeah, so, have I convinced you not to watch this film?
I have not wanted to watch it.
Okay.
And I still don't want to watch it, even though it has Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver in.
Yeah.
In my opinion, two of the best actors around right now.
Okay.
I think they're really good.
We'll come back to this argument another day.
We'll come back to that. They're probably not in my top 10, but they're maybe in my top 15.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not.
No, it's just,
No.
I don't. No.
Does it have like any redeemable qualities?
I mean,
Any?
the film is very pretty, and it's got a few moments that you're like, yeah, I can see that happening in real life. But other than that,
It sounds like we're gonna write this off as irredeemable.
yes.
Yes.
So, first
Yes.
irredeemable.
First irredeemable is irredeemable.
My God.
Who saw that one coming? Who saw that one coming?
I don't know, but you know what I won't see coming? This week's Showdown Throwdown. Who have we got?
Showdown Throwdown, everyone. That is where I take two random characters-ish
Random-ish.
and we put them into, if you like, an empty football field and say who would win.
Yeah.
Is it a fight? Sometimes it's a fight, sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter.
They're pointed at each other and told to fight. Let's go.
So, theming with today's film review
Okay.
of Extraction,
Right.
we have our boy Tyler, Mr. Extraction Boy,
Oh my God, okay.
versus Thor from the first Thor movie where he lost his powers.
Ooh. Ooh, we got two different Chris Hemsworth characters.
It's two different Chris Hemsworth characters, but neither of which have Thor powers. So
Okay.
there you go. What do you make of that?
Let's have a think. Right, so Thor from the first film spends like 90% of the film like flailing pretty much and being a bit of a dick.
Falling like crashing into car windscreens and things like that.
Yeah, and it's
getting drugged.
yeah,
I think at one point.
and it's generally just a bit of a mess. Let's be honest. Like, sis, you need to sit
Yes.
down. Whereas Tyler spends like the entirety of the film being like, badass, like gun mercenary person. So I'm pretty sure the fight would be over very, very quickly because Tyler would just shoot the guy. Right?
Or remember the scene in 4 where he's at the cafe table and he's like, "Bring me another." And he, like,
Smash.
throws the
Yeah.
What if he did that but threw it at Tyler? Bring me another. Just throws it at him and he's like, "Bring on the next one."
I mean, maybe, but like, the question is are we dropping them close together? Are we dropping them the football field's distance? Because, like, if we're dropping them, like, close together, I'm pretty sure Thor would win because super strength, he can just yeet the dude.
He doesn't have super strength though.
Well, not exactly, but he is a goddamn god.
That is a good point. What happens if Thor, when he's not Thor, dies? Does
I don't.
like when he was like about to die before, that's when he got his powers back. So like if you shot him, would he become Thor again because he sacrificed himself to Tyler?
I don't think so. I think he would just,
No.
peace out like Odin did.
Yeah, just just he like shoots him, and then he just like disapparates into a bunch of like gold dust. And it's
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
Yeah, like that is genuinely how I think that fight would go down. Like that's not a
Okay.
hard one.
Second
Oh.
version of it,
Okay.
we put both of them on a hit reality dating show.
Right.
You're a contestant. Is it the long hair or is it the short hair?
It's the long
That's
hair.
the
I'm sorry, it's the long hair. Like, that's not even a hard question, right? So, okay, actually, hold on. Are we talking Thor at the beginning of the film where he's a dude, like a massive dude, bro, douche? Or are we talking Thor like midway through the film where he's realized that, like, women are feet people?
I think we have to go at the exact point he slams down the glass, because that's his peak.
That is his peak. I hate that. That's
Another.
his peak, but yeah. So, I would.
Because I'm short hair.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to go.
It'd have to be.
I was very upset in Ragnarok when they shaved off his hair.
When Stan Lee shaves his hair off.
I was like, it was funny. I found that whole scene very, very funny. I found Ragnarok very funny in general, but I was like, no, not the hair. I like his hair. I like guys with long hair.
That was the biggest loss of Ragnarok, really.
It really was. It was the hair.
Not Odin, not Asgard. It's Thor's long hair.
It's Thor's gorgeous flowing locks. Like,
well,
I feel like first film Thor would treat me right, so
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to some not so dateable characters.
Great.
This one, it is Deadshot.
Okay.
I'm not specifying which version, because technically all versions are really the same, to be honest. They're just different actors.
It's
in terms of powers.
It's Shooty McShooty can shoot. That's his
they
character.
can all shoot and hit whatever they're shooting.
Yeah.
Versus our clumsy boy Boba Fett.
Oh. Is this even a question? Are you being serious with me?
Like Deadshot versus Boba Fett.
Boba Fett would be so dead so quick.
Well, you say that, but Boba Fett is not fantastic in the movies.
He is not.
However, in some of the expanded lore, he's kind of a bit of a badass.
Yeah, but is he Deadshot badass?
And I think that Boba Fett could accidentally his way out of this. I don't think it'd be a fight to the death. I think Deadshot would shoot Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Boba Fett would smell a hot dog or something.
Yeah.
And turn around, and the bullet would hit Boba Fett's jetpack, and it would send him hurtling off out of the stadium.
Yeah.
I think that is exactly how it would go. He would just accidentally himself
out of the thing.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And Deadshot's there what do I do? What do I do?
He's just watching this guy blast off into outer space, and he's like, okay.
It's I'm not going to space.
Whatever. Okay.
That's fantastic.
I'll give you that.
Yes. Woo.
Okay. Moving on swiftly from that, if you're done.
Am I done? I mean, knowing Boba Fett, he'd probably get eaten by a space whale or something. This story could go on forever.
We're gonna leave it here. Okay. So, I have been watching a lot of TV recently because we're all in quarantine and there is nothing else to do.
That is true.
This is also a lie. I've also been making face masks, regardless. So I've been watching a lot of Netflix, more specifically, and there are two shows in particular that I have decided to talk about this week. The first of which I literally just finished. It's called Never Have I Ever.
I have been meaning to watch it. It's on my list.
Ooh, I will give you the less spoilery short version, which is I really like this show. It took me a while.
That's it. It's just that.
It's just that.
I really like this show.
Like this show. No,
No spoilers.
It took me a hot second to get through it, and I had to pause quite a lot during the show and go away and come back to it because I was like, cringe. But it's the same kind of cringe that you get in most, teen rom-com shows.
So I've somewhat kept up with a lot of the Netflix teen rom-com things.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of them, mostly starring Riverdale characters.
Yep.
And this looks like one of those. I'm talking about things like, I don't know if you've seen The Kissing Booth, or there's another one that I can't remember.
I haven't seen The Kissing Booth, but
No.
I get the feeling that it is. It's very sort of slice of life. That being said, it does deal with darker things, I guess, like death and the way that grief has an effect on people, and the way that being brought up in a non-mainstream culture, like what the effect of that is on teenagers. And it's all packaged in a very non-condescending, teenage-friendly way, which is why I pretty much forced myself to finish it, because honestly, we need more shows like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think from what you're saying, it has the advantage. A lot of the other ones are films, and they don't have the time to explore anything deeper than just, oh, look, it's a teen rom-com. Oh my god, there's a love triangle. Oh my god, someone wants to date their best friend's brother. Oh my god.
Yeah. It can come off as a bit shallow.
Yeah. It seems like this had a bit more time and room to breathe and talk about some things.
Also, the way that the story is structured is really, really good. But the thing that, kept me going through all of it is the racial diversity is fantastic. The majority of the recurring cast is not white, which is not something you see all that much, which is a shame. Because you end up not, seeing other people's stories. You only see, white girl gets the boy every time, which
I have seen that a lot of these kind of rom-com teen films with just no cast diversity. It's just none whatsoever, and it makes the world feel more real because that's what it is.
Yeah. And I mean,
it just seems a bit weird otherwise.
And a little bit of bias here, but I'm going to go in with it anyways. So there are a couple of Jewish characters, and it's good. The way that they're presented is good. It's like, yeah, okay, I could believe that these people are Jewish. That's cool. And it's not made a big thing of, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend that. Do you have any shows you'd like to talk about, Tommy?
I have. If you're not aware, this week was a very important week. A very important day, in fact. May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
God. Right.
So I
was wondering where you were going with that.
I took it upon myself to watch the final season of Clone Wars.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into spoilers.
Please don't. I would like to watch it.
Just know that it is the best. I've always said this, but Clone Wars is the best Star Wars that has Star Warsed. Oh my god.
Okay.
I went into it and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a fun couple of hours. They'll do some fun stories, and it was like, oh my god, that was not what I was expecting, but that's incredible.
Nice.
I have now just decided, just every time I do a Star Wars film, I'm just not gonna just gonna ignore the prequels entirely, and I'm just do a Clone Wars marathon instead, because what's the point in sitting through 6 hours of stupidity when you can sit through 6 hours of the most amazing Star Wars ever put to film or TV?
Oh.
I know you think I'm exaggerating. I'm not.
No, I know you're not. My dad ended up watching it a little while ago, and he keeps recommending it to me. So it's on my watch list.
So, I just some of the non-spoilery stuff that I can actually talk about, because I can't say much because obviously
I'd like to watch
spoilers.
it.
The animation is somehow even better than it usually is. The characterization is incredible, and it really does Star Wars justice. Really does. I can't say anything other than that. Like, that's all I can say.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Continuing on with shows we've watched recently, I ended up watching Unorthodox recently, which it also is on Netflix. Everything's on Netflix. It is, in a nutshell, it's a story of a Hasidic woman who ends up, like, escaping her community, and she ends up in Berlin. So, for those of you not in the know, Hasidic communities are a subsection of Judaism who are, I like to refer to them as like the Amish of Jews. It's not entirely correct, but it's like basically after the Second World War, after the Holocaust, they were like, this is because God is punishing us, and so we should go back to exactly what the scripture says. So they live literally word to word of the Torah, which is not really what you're meant to do, but we're going to ignore that. And the point here is that they have very strict rules, and they're not allowed contact with the outside world, really. So we meet our character, Etsy, and she...
Oh, that's an adorable name.
It's a good name, isn't it? And she pretty much only speaks, like, Yiddish with a little bit of English. Okay? Because it's a closed community. The only people she knows outside of her community is this one woman who was renting from her father, and used to teach her piano. That is it, right? And the whole story is that, she manages to escape to Berlin, but, they realise that she's escaped, and her husband and, like, his cousin, I think, go after to, like, bring her back. It's a really interesting look into the Hasidic communities of New York, and it makes me sad. Like, it makes me really sad that there are people out there who genuinely believe that this is the way that people should live. And I think the story arc is believable. It's exaggerated for film, for TV, but in general, it's very well shot. It doesn't, like, make fun of the Jewishness of the characters. And, I like Etsy. She's a good character.
Yeah.
And it,
everyone loves a good character.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway, I feel, from everything we've recommended. It's just everyone loves a good character.
We like good characters. But it's... if you're not willing to sit through, like... It's only 4 episodes. So if you're not willing to sit through, like, 4 hours of emotional roller coaster, don't watch it, because it will make you feel things. And I know that there's quite a few American Jews that have a bit of a problem with it. I haven't really talked to anyone in the wider community about it yet, so I can't say for sure that it's, like, 100% accurate, because, I'm decidedly liberal. I was brought up sort of conservatively-ish liberal, so I can't really say if it's accurate for the Hasidic parts, but the whole, like, leaving and finding yourself sort of plot line really spoke to me. So, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Another good recommendation.
Have you been watching anything else, my dude?
No, that's basically been it for me. It's been Star Wars week.
Fair enough.
Basically just Star Wars week. Yeah, that's all I've been doing.
So, my housemate came into my room, like, earlier this week, like, I'd like to describe how he came in, actually, because it was quite amusing. I was sitting on the floor, I was making masks, because that's what I do with my time now, apparently, and he kicked my door open, hit himself in the face with my door, because I've got a exercise ball behind my door, because I don't know where else to store it. So it bounced and hit him, and he was like, "You do know there's like a Terraria update coming out, right?" And I was like, "No." So
okay, yeah.
there is the final Terraria update coming out, 1.4. It's been called Journey's End, which I think is quite fitting. And it's huge. It is massive. Oh my god. So, it is coming out on the 16th of May, so in a week and a half's time. I did consider, saving this for next week, but I am actually very excited about it right now. So, we are getting over 800 new items, which is a lot. There are currently about 5,000 items in the game, so an extra 800 is like almost another fifth of the whole content of the game, right? There are new mini biomes. Okay, so have you played Terraria?
I've dabbled.
Okay.
I think is the best summary.
Okay, so you're aware of biomes, right?
Vaguely. It's been a few years.
Okay. The whole thing about biomes in Terraria is they have like the big biomes, so like, the forest ones and the beach and corruption, obviously, but they also have like mini biomes, so like there are marble ones underground, and more notably there's a glowing mushroom mini biome underground, which I love for so many reasons, but they are bringing in some new mini biomes that I am very excited about because I love a mini biome. Let me tell you, it makes my day when I find one. They're also adding a bestiary, which is completely new. So you'll only have things that you've killed before. The number of monsters of that type that you've killed will add up to the amount of knowledge you have about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, the more you kill, the more you'll, find out what it drops and what kind of attacks it has and all these kind of things, which I think is kind of unnecessary in a game like Terraria, but I think it's like a really nice thing to add, especially for those people out there who play Terraria for the drops. I would like to mention at this point that I have plugged a lot of hours into Terraria and I've not gotten past the Wall of Flesh because I don't want to, because I'm that kind of player. So, they've also added golf.
What? What?
Yeah, that was my reaction. They've decided to add golf to the game.
How is this the second conversation I'm having today about golf?
What? Yeah, that seems like a sidetrack. Okay. But yeah, they've decided to add golf to the game. I've seen a couple of clips where they're showing it off, and it actually looks kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was confused. They've also got new difficulties, which is what I'm really, really excited about. So they've got two new. They've added an extra hard mode, which they've called Master. And one that they haven't talked about at all called Journey. There's a screenshot in which you can see that they've added it, but they've not actually mentioned it at all in their press release.
Okay.
So, speculation at the moment is that it's sort of like a building sandbox type difficulty, reduced monsters.
Yeah.
More emphasis on the building and exploring side of things. I'm gonna stick with my normal mode, but that does sound pretty fun, especially for people like me who are in it for the building. They've also, and I'm split about this last one, they've decided to add NPC happiness levels.
Okay, yeah.
So your NPCs will now have biomes where they're happier, and they actually have to be around other NPCs, and you have to think about how you're building your towns and stuff like that. Which, on the one hand, I really love that extra layer of world building, I guess. And it's another interesting thing to keep up with. But on the other hand, this means I can't just build towers.
Don't you hate it when an update hinders the way you already play the game?
Yeah, come on, let me play the game how I'm playing the game. My god. God. But in general, I'm very, very excited because they're also doing an overhaul of the way that they generate world. And from what I can tell, it makes so much sense. This is also the last major update, so obviously they're going to do like bug fixes and like maybe a few tidbits here and there, but
Yeah.
pretty much after this, they are hands off the game. They are leaving it alone.
Which is I always think a scary thought when it comes to a game.
Yeah.
When you've been playing a game that's constantly updating, and then they say, actually, this is going to be the last. We're done from here on out. Like it's a scary thought.
Yeah, but also really exciting because, you know, if they think, you know what, we've peaked, it's okay, we can leave it here, then what they've got coming out for us must be really cool, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, going into it with this kind of opportunistic hope, this is the point where, you know, a couple weeks' time, I'm talking about how I hate the new update, but for the moment,
we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, well, we'll have another little update at that point. Is there anything else we would like to talk about this week?
Well, as you know, it's a very important week. In fact, it's been a very important... I'm not doing that joke again.
Please don't.
I've been playing Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Oh my gosh.
Because, of course, I have.
Of course
it's
you
Star
have.
Wars. It's a very important week. Anyway.
Oh my god.
So, I played that game way a long time ago on DS. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I've been playing on PC this time. And oh my god, is it so much better. Like, the things that they did, like, changes they made are just generally better. So, like, there's more levels, there's more characters. Some characters actually have use now. Oh my god, they made Jar Jar Binks useful.
He was always useful. Double jump, yo.
That wasn't a thing in DS.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing that I'm referring to.
Oh, right.
Because that wasn't a thing in DS.
I've only played the PC versions of the Lego games.
Yeah. So that was really cool. There's more characters. There's tons of new red bricks, which I love. So there are a bunch of extras. My personal favourite too right now is Chewbacca. But when you have Chewbacca, he's holding C-3PO for Empire Strikes Back.
Yes!
And that is amazing because I was playing through a level in episode 3 with Chewbacca in, and he's got C-3PO, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
The other one is one that disarms stormtroopers. So instead of guns, they have carrots.
Yes.
It's amazing. So that's been really good. I've made it through half the game of the story mode. So that's been really fun. Continuing my journey through all the Lego games, I definitely will not be updating you every week.
Of course not.
On my journey through the Lego games.
Why would you do a thing like that?
They're really awesome. And for those of you that aren't aware, there is a new Lego game. I don't know if it released on May the 4th or is releasing soon, which is the Skywalker Saga Lego game, which is basically films 1 to 9, possibly with a bit more, and it's really cool, looks really cool, and I can't afford it. So anyway, so that's really cool. So lots of Star Wars hype. I definitely have not spread Star Wars throughout the whole of the podcast, subtly. That's all I really had to say is Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga is really good, and it's pretty cheap right now, and you can get at least a fun 10 hours or so out of it.
Or more if you're me and are completely completionist, you have to do all
If you're a try-hard and want to complete the whole game, you can get more, but for anyone else, it's just a fun romp through your favourite moments of the Star Wars trilogy, made even funnier by Lego. So.
And you may get a good nostalgia hit because that's what Lego does.
Yes.
And with that, I think that's all we've got to say for today.
I think so.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.